It is January 6, 2025, 4 years after the insurrection at the White House over there in Washington, D.C. We all saw it. Many people would like to whitewash it and wash it away as if it didn't exist, but it very much existed. And so the Lincoln Project actually says it best. So, courtesy of the Lincoln Project, let us just go ahead and just refresh your memory, shall we? Yes, we shall.
We know what we saw. We know what we heard. It wasn't spontaneous. They came prepared for battle. Body armor, chemical weapons, zip ties. Their mission, to overturn an American election.
We will never concede.
Outnumbered, brave law enforcement officers fought hand to hand to save our democracy. Many were wounded. One died the next day. Post-traumatic stress syndrome drove 4 January 6th heroes to suicide. Donald Trump calls this violent terrorism a day of love.
That was a day of love.
He's promised to pardon these violent criminals. That's wrong. Evil.
Those people have suffered long and hard. And I think it's very unfair.
Don't let one man rewrite history. We know what we saw. We know what we heard. There are no alternative facts. Only the truth.
Donald Trump says it was a thing of love. He also said he wasn't worried that they weren't after him because he caused the whole thing. Now, I recall a week before when Donald Trump said, yeah, you guys need to be there at the Capitol. It's going to be wild, right? Steve Bannon gets up and says all hell was going to break loose, right? So it happens. They have a noose. They have targeted people. Nancy Pelosi, John Roberts, and Mike Pence. I never thought that we as a society of this nation that something like this would actually take place. But it did. We cannot unsee anything. So let's just go on and put this on the record, shall we? What was told to the American people is that they were going to bring down housing prices, going to bring down grocery prices. Well, if you were really paying attention, you would have known that that is not true. It never was true. What was true is that Donald Trump said openly and to your face, I don't care about you. I only want your vote.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
I ask you, what were you thinking and what's really on your mind? Is it the eugenics that Donald Trump spoke so strongly and so boldly about? Eugenics. That's when you keep a race homogenous, specifically the white race. They talk about immigrants and getting rid of immigrants at the south of the border, Africa, China, these different places. But they have never once spoken about immigrants that are coming from Europe. Because it's not Donald Trump's wife, an immigrant. It's not Elon Musk, an immigrant. So, what's going to happen for the next 4 years? We have a person, Elon Musk, who was not elected for any cabinet, but yet and still, it seems like he owns Donald Trump. These companies own Donald Trump. And so, since he is not going to go down like that, who will have to pay for all of the bad decisions that are about to be made? There are a host of things that Donald Trump said he wanted to do, all of which are very harmful to the American people. Do you really think that housing is going to be built that is going to be lower in price? No, it won't be. Simply because Canada supplies our wood for building housing units. And with 25% tariff, developers are not going to pay that money. And if they do, you can best believe it will be passed on to the consumer, to the American people. So, it may be even more difficult to buy a home, which is part of the American dream, as they say. Yeah. Well, that means people will be pushed into rents. That means supply and demand. That means much higher prices. This is what the American people voted for. They voted for a twice impeached, convicted of 32 felony counts. Felonies, I always thought was a deal breaker for running for presidency, but evidently not. So let me just encourage those that just, if you got any felonies, it shouldn't be any interference in you getting employment at all. If we have a 32 count felon that's sitting in the White House right now, then there's no way and no reason and no rhyme why anybody should be denied employment, political office, or anything. We have a person who has admitted to drug use, strong drug use. I'm talking about RFK, but he's over the health policy. Now, listen, everybody changes. I get it, okay? But to be over the health policy, maybe you could find something else for him to do. Because he just don't seem like he's all the way well, okay? This was never about you, the American people.
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
It never was. You wanted to believe that. You started following another human being to supply your needs. Those in those red states, it's going to hit you first and the hardest. You were the ones that voted for him, and do you really believe that he cares anything about you?
I don't care about you. I just want your vote. I don't care.
He's a con man, and you were conned. Indeed, you were. This is something you will have to deal with. I am part of the 92%. I voted the way in order to keep a democracy intact. I voted for a $50,000 tax credit for starting a new business. I voted for 3 million new housing units. I voted for expansion of Medicaid and Medicare to assist folks so that they can age in place and they would have in-home support to assist them so that their children, if they even have children, do not have to sacrifice their lives and their mental well-being in order to take care of not only their children but their parents as well. As we start to close out this day of January 6th and we start to look toward January 21st, 12 noon, many wonder what's going to happen. Well, many of you voted for this, and all I'm going to say is good luck. I would say power to the people, but I can't because you voted the power away from the people. Good day.